In this video training, it's all about clinching the deal. And the presentation topics that we will be covering are as follows. We're going to be looking at what plan of action do you need. Number 2, sales processes that you need to follow. 3, the team preparation, followed by product approach tactics. Number 5, looking at digital media. And number 6, various sales strategies that you need to be aware of that you can easily implement within your optometric practice. And so let's get started. A lot has changed within the business environment or the eye care landscape. How things used to be done 5-10 years ago is different from how things need to be done today and going forward. And so what got your business this far might not necessarily be enough to take it to the next level. And clinching the deal, it's not as simple as it was a couple of years ago. That's because the standard was pretty much the same everywhere else you go. But the consumer has evolved. The business landscape has evolved. The consumer demands have changed. The consumer requirements have changed. And the consumer is more knowledgeable about what they should expect or what they expect when they get to optometric practices. So that which you used to do, it's not going to cut it anymore. Your business urgently needs to acquire new skills that go beyond traditional selling techniques. Learn new ways that enable you to take advantage of perhaps being online. Evolve from relying on outdated marketing initiatives and promotional activities. And of course, be unconventional, get uncomfortable in how you approach the consumer and be willing to do things that are outside of the box. So with regards to your plan of action, the question then becomes, where do you get started? What are some of the things that you can start doing, and what does your plan of action need to be focused on? Well, before we even get to that, here's a question that I actually have for you. When people think of getting their eyes tested or examined, what makes you think your practice comes to their mind? When people think of your business, what do you think actually comes to their mind? How do you think people identify with your business? What thoughts, feelings, emotions does your business evoke in consumers? How and what does your business make them feel about themselves? When consumers speak of your business, what is it that they are saying? Do they speak of your products, services, people, culture, environment, deals, specials? What is it that you actually want them to be saying to begin with? And so these are just some questions that you need to be thinking about every single time. And so with regards the plan of action, there are various components that you need to be aware of. Firstly, your plan of action has to have a digital and social selling strategies. Do you have a clear, well-defined strategy in place? Are you still doing what you were doing before? And is it working? What is it that you need to adapt, change, restructure within your practice? Component number 2, the consumer approach. The one size fits all no longer works. Everyone demands to be treated special. Next, sales targets. Always remember, you are not running a non-profit organization. This is a business. And so if you think of a pharmaceutical environment or a lens manufacturing company or a contact lens company, you go to the head offices, you see on the wall a computer screen or a TV screen, and the targets for the year, targets for the month, targets according to the different divisions are on display. And next to it is where that particular division is in relation to the target. You go to optometric practices, the teams are not aware of what the target is for the year, what the target is for the quarter, what the target is for the month, the week, the day, and where they are in relation to the target. And if you don't have that in place, it means people are just going to work every single day with no sales targets or clarity around targets in place. Yet you go to the back office of the practice or the kitchen, and what would you find on the wall? Roster in terms of who is working, when this person is going on leave, when that person is going on leave, but you don't have any, and contact details of various companies, but you don't have details pertaining to the vision, the sales numbers, the sales targets, and people are expecting to achieve targets how? So the vision needs to be clear, the sales targets needs to be clear, and people need to be held accountable towards those things. Next component here that we mentioned is communication strategies and tactics. You have to be clear on what tactics are you employing that are pertaining to baby boomers, millennials, Generation X, the silent generation, high incoming earners, Tswana speaking people, Zulu speaking people, Afrikaans speaking people, depending on the area in which your practice is located or operating in. So you have to have clear strategies to say, guys, for first time visitors, this is what we need to be doing. For follow-up visitors who are coming for the second or the third time, this is what we do. For our clients who have been loyal to us and have been coming and returning to the practice year after year, this is the approach that we employ. You have to have clear communication strategies and tactics in place. Next component, retail dynamics. Remember, consumers, when they go to the shops, they go there needing various things, shoes, bags, clothes, whatever it is. Why is it that when it comes to eyewear or eye care related matters, we are thinking in a narrow-minded manner? We're not thinking on a broader perspective to say, how does our practice management solutions fit into this person's lifestyle, leisure activities, overall visual environment? So when we communicate it, we need to be putting our best foot forward in the sense that you're not communicating the least expensive option. You're not communicating the most basic option. You're not communicating that one pair of spectacles. You want to be communicating the multiple pairs of spectacles, the multiple pairs of sunglasses, the contact lenses that goes with it. You need to be getting to a level at which they're not buying every second year. They buy every 3 to 6 months. So move from this mentality where you're thinking that people are only going to be coming to your practice when they need to renew their glasses. No, they need to be coming to your practice on a regular basis, because eyewear is just as important as their bags, their shoes, everything else that they change on a regular basis. A person does not change their clothes every 2 years. They're changing their clothes on a regular basis. Why can't they change their eyewear on a regular basis? And then loyalty building. What makes you loyal to a particular place or company? You have to be intentional about this with every consumer. So there are certain places that you go to where you are loyal. What is the reason behind that? What about the service? What about the culture? What about the people? What about the environment that resulted in you being loyal in that environment? So as a practice, as a team, you need to communicate that amongst yourself to say, hi guys, how do we build loyalty? How do we establish loyalty within the practice for each and every single person that keeps coming to our practice? Loyalty building is very, very important. Next, understanding of consumer purchasing decisions. For example, consumers make purchasing decisions based on the following: value, convenience, customization, and functionality. Where is your practice positioned in relation to those 4 key areas that we've just alluded to? Then understand that consumer needs to be engaged and not given sales pitches. So start from the moment the patient walks into the practice and when they engage the practice. Put your best foot forward. If someone has never worn glasses for the first time, showcase your expertise. If someone has worn glasses before, but they got their glasses from another practice and they come into your practice for the first time, showcase how you are better. The only way you can do that is finding out how was the experience with the previous eyewear company, so that you can make sure that you are exceeding the expectations. With the client, constantly lay out the red carpet for them. And then brand positioning. Trust is the key ingredient that sets your business apart. The quickest way is to deliver on what you promise on and exceed expectations. So it's very critical that you are operating from a premises of trying to get out of your way to build trust. If you're not doing that, you're limiting the potential that you have in clinching the deal. And so the question then comes in terms of how do you navigate your business from survival mode to thriving mode. And there are 4 key areas in which you can do that. The first point here is that you need to be aware of is what components of your business offering can you improve tremendously that the consumer will notice and be interested in. And it's a list of things. Time frames of products to be ready, payment options and gateways available to the consumer, advanced technology on systems, processes, equipment, increased communication platforms, options to experience the product upgrades before purchasing, e-commerce platforms, service delivery enhancements. Those are some of the things from a business offering point of view that you can improve on tremendously, that can influence how you close and clinch deals. Next, what key areas of your business are distinctively unique to you that the competition does not even have an awareness of? For example, telemedicine, direct delivery of products, responsive and interactive digital platforms, bespoke services and products that perhaps you start offering, specialty services with regards to different eye care competencies, multifaceted management solutions to patient care, or innovation. If you're not innovating, you are slowly dying as a business or as a brand. And so, are there, in these things that I've just mentioned to you now, are there ways in which you are distinctively unique in that value proposition? Next, what are you currently doing within or for your business to develop your team, increase your capacity, and enhance your business offering? So, for example, training and development workshops, online distance learning platforms. How often are you guys accessing that? People and leadership development programs, business activation programs, sales training courses, new skills development courses, improved communication strategies. These are various types of trainings that you can start doing for your team in getting them to the level at which they are setting themselves apart from all other types of employees. And lastly, which areas of your business can you surpass or outperform industry norms or standards? Is it social media, e-commerce platforms, time frames for delivery of products, telemedicine, delivery services, pricing, or brand positioning of your business? And so it's very important that you understand that from a plan of action, those are the components that are involved and what ways in which you are able to navigate from survival mode to thriving mode. Next, it's the sales process. And what do we mean with regards sales processes? Remember, let me put it this way, consumers that require visual solutions have various financial barriers they need to overcome. Are you in a position to dismantle all of them? Cutting the cost up front, allowing the consumer to spread the cost over time and minimizing their financial risks, all help reduce the challenges that the consumer may have. Let's give a practical example on a few scenarios. For example, on the issue of affordability. Remember, consumers will spend their hard-earned money on what speaks the most to their current needs and wants. With regards to medical insurance, will their medical insurance be enough to cover all their medical needs? If not, what options do they have available to get what they need? Next, product. Why should the consumer upgrade their current management solution to the one you are now recommending? Next, access. Can you reduce the effort required to get consumers to get started with your products and services? Perhaps another challenge with regards to the sales process that's involved is the preconceived ideas. What misconceptions about the overall eye care experience do you need to address for the consumer to be able for them to move forward? Next, past experiences. This is critical. It is imperative for you to know the previous experience with the previous optometric practice or yourself as well, and what worked well and what didn't. If you know that, you're in a position to know that, wait a minute, we can exceed expectations in this regard. Next, service excellence. Exceeding expectations should be a top priority for your practice. Everything the team does should be intentional and not be done as a by the way kind of thing. Next, and finally, technology. Never forget that with technological advances, the key to winning the consumer over is making the center of everything the technology does them. So make the experience with the technology advancements personal to the consumer, not something that makes them feel like they're just a number. You want them to be experiencing the technological advancements in a way it feels like it was designed specifically for them. And so overcoming any challenge the consumer may have leads to them becoming customers. Consumers don't ever want to lose more than they win. Always remember that. When consumers can identify with your offering, it makes it easier for them to buy from you. Uncertainty on your product or services makes them more likely makes them more unlikely to make a purchase of any kind. Confidence, though, in your product and services increases the chance of a purchase. So don't lord over your expertise. They don't like that. It turns them off completely. Consumers trust companies that know what they're doing. And so you don't necessarily have to be the best, but let alone be perfect. But you have to understand that you have to make it clear, or provide them with clear evidence and experience that you have helped people just like them before in overcoming their challenges. And you can certainly do that with them when they come for their eyewear related needs. Share testimonies, real practical ones that speak directly to the solutions and services that directly drive sales up and that brings people to the door. So that's something that is very, very important for you to understand pertaining to sales processes. Next is the team preparation. This one is very, very important because the team preparation is critical to clinching the deal. For example, number one, key areas that the team needs to be prepared on: sales targets. Everyone needs to be aware of the numbers. 2, tracking sales activities. Know where the wins are all the time. 3, specific plans of action. If there's a particular campaign, really focus on it as a team and be specific in terms of what is the overall objective of this particular campaign. At the end of the campaign, what do you want to have achieved? What is the journey of the consumer throughout this campaign? What is the steps that we want the consumer to go throughout the campaign? And what will the result be at the end of that campaign? Next, sales training. There's always room to improve, irrespective of how long you've been in the practice. We have reiterated the component of sales training before. It's very, very important. Next, current norms in the practice are always focused on administrative matters, human resources. Sales are not going to fall from the sky. So if you're not evolving as a practice for making sure that people are well equipped and well trained on how to look for the sales opportunities, how to drive sales, you're going to miss out on those wonderful sales opportunities. Communication and messaging. Question that you have to ask yourself is, what is your attractive appeal? Next, self-management skills. Discipline is key. You have to ensure that you as an individual are disciplined with regards the day-to-day operations within the optometric practice. Are you disciplined to a level at which you are becoming a catalyst? And if you're becoming a catalyst, that means you are a leader in that business. And if you're a leader, that means the results and the work that you do will be evident with the sales in the practice. Simple as that. And then sales skills development. Invest in this for the team and for the sake of your business. If you're not getting your team to be trained, they're not going to produce the results that they need. And always follow up. Follow up. Team needs to know that, wait a minute, certain clients, this is how we follow up with them. Certain customers, this is how we follow up with. That first time visitor to the practice, this is how we follow up. This is why we're supposed to follow up. And you will find that it's going to set your business apart from all other businesses when it's clear what you are doing with regards the training for the team. And so the take-home message with regards what the team is supposed to be prepared on is very simple. Actions by satisfied customers, they become the biggest practice advocates for your business. Quickest way to increase sales, deliver above what is expected. What should you always directly ask for? Referrals if possible. What feedback do you always need from the consumer? Service improvements. What can you improve on? What are the opportunities for the practice to stand out? Well, every single activity that happens in the practice is an opportunity for you guys to stand out on. The impact of a great reputation, increasing number of first-time visitors to the practice. Brand loyalty benefits, the consumer experience is the difference maker. So everything that you do from a brand positioning point of view, it's about the consumer. What is the consumer experience all about? So what experience do you want the consumer to get? The worthwhile experience if it's there, the worthy expenditure becomes. And then the buy-in of the team. When the team is fully behind the vision of the practice and fully behind the leader, they will always bring their buy-in to the practice or to the business. And always plan ahead. Certain actions that you take today will only benefit the practice at a later stage. So what should you be doing today that will ensure that your business is going to be still growing a year from now? So you always have to prepare as a team in that regard. Next, product approach tactics. This one is very, very important because with regards to product, always understand the following. Everyone needs more than one pair of spectacles. Loyalty is the second component. Your loyal customers, you want them to be buying multiple range of products on a regular basis, consistently so. And so who are your clients that have already shown that they are loyal to your business? What form of relationship are you having with them? How are you developing or harnessing that relationship with them so they are buying on more regular intervals? Don't make it difficult for people to get products from you. Always remember that. Next, it's about your products. Always remember that it's with regards to the product, it's how the product is, product knowledge basically. This is how it works. It's not about the product, but it's about how the product is going to benefit that particular consumer. So you're not communicating, you need this product for this. When you're talking features and benefits of a product, it must be in relation to the problem that the product is going to solve. Always remember that. And always take into consideration, what did the consumer come in wanting, needing, or having a problem with? So when you start communicating your product, you always have to communicate the product as a solution to the problem that they have. Always remember that. And communicate value. What will they be gaining if they go with what you're recommending versus what will they be losing if they're not going with it? And your display area. Always make sure that with regards to where your frames and everything is located, you are always starting with your best product first. And you know where your products are. You can't have this situation where you are looking around, not sure where your products are, and the consumer is also not sure where their products are. So make sure that you know that if a consumer is asking for a particular type of frame or product, you know where that particular type of product or frame is located, and you go and get exactly that and give it to that consumer. And think like a salesperson. Think sales. A salesperson is always sharp, is always ready to close those deals. Remember, the thing about sales is that it helps you close deals. If you go anywhere else, if you go buy a car, for example, if you go and purchase anything else, the person that is dealing with you is thinking like a salesperson. So it's also important for you to think like a salesperson. How do salespeople think? Salespeople are like product specialists. They are product specialists. They understand that the consumer has money. Yes, the consumer has money. This is the thing about optometry or eye care. They're always looking at, am I spending my money here or there at another practice? So you need to distinguish yourself as the business, as the place for them to come and spend their money on. So you need to be communicating your solutions in a manner in which the consumer can clearly understand that I really need this. So don't think that consumers don't have money. They have money. They're just not spending their money in your practice. They're spending it somewhere else. So you need to get to a point where they spend their money in your business. Next, get rid of this 2-year cycle for consumers to purchase. They need to be buying your products every 6 months at the bare minimum. And know your frame, like I said earlier on, where your frames are located. So be involved in discussing with the team to say this look and styles and colors are positioned here. If a person comes in looking for this is where you find it. If a person comes looking for that, that's where you find it. Know where your products are located within the practice. Also, learn and equip yourself with fashion styling solutions for the consumer. Discover your high value clients very quickly. Complacency, always remember this. Complacency is what holds the practice back. So training and development needs to be very, very prioritized within the practice. And always remember that sales are a very big component of eye care management. So you start off educating the person. You then move on to the clinical component, which is where you are now examining and making sure that the person understands what is wrong with their eyes and what solutions are available. Then, once you have done those two phases, you're putting on your sales cap. And when you've got your sales cap on, you're closing deals. You are making sure that this person understands that their problem needs multiple pairs of solutions, and you're going to give them exactly that. Next, digital approach strategies. This is very, very important that from a digital point of view, you understand that anything that you do digitally has to be authentic, needs to be relevant, needs to be customized to the generation type, needs to be in line with consumer purchasing decisions, needs to be market specific orientated, needs to be consumer centric, needs to be revenue growth orientated, but most importantly, needs to be unique to what will add the most amount of value, not only to the consumer, but also to the business. And so if you're not having a website, get a website. If you're not having an e-commerce website, get an e-commerce website. Literally utilize digital media to the best possible level that you possibly can. Why is this important? Why should you have digital advertising campaigns? It's very important to grow your brand online on different digital platforms, to be on top of list when people search for your products and services you render, have targeted display of your product or your brand to potential consumers, to display the experience the consumer will get from engaging with your brand, to increase your return on investment from the online activities that you do, for you to be able to target your potential customers based on their geographic location, age, gender, job title, lifestyle, and even their behavior. And of course, very important, to establish long-term, impactful, and meaningful relationships with your clients. And lastly, sales strategies. Well, you have to know and clearly understand the different sales strategies that are applicable to optometric practices and ensure you implement them on a daily basis. The fact that the consumer walked into your practice is a huge opportunity for a sale. You want the consumer to get their need, whilst at the same time they give you what they need and what you need. So be intentional with every consumer. So the sales strategy approach is as follows. The atmosphere needs to be very welcoming. Then you educate the consumer, exceed their expectations, convince and persuade them that which they need is going to benefit them how. Deliver on what you promise and follow up with them. That's basically a simple strategy that if you could just take the time to implement within your optometric practices, you'll find that you're going to close deals far better, far easier, and on a regular basis. And that's how you go about clinching the deal.